Champion of Champions tournament sees 16 of the world's best players competing against each other. The 16 are placed in 4 groups of 4. Each group plays down to a winner. 3 groups have been completed, 3 winners have emerged. We're waiting for a 4th, and he'll come from Group 1. The winner to be decided in our next match. Ronnie Sullivan and John Higgins are here after wins over Jimmy White and Stuart Bingham respectively. It's a match steeped in the sport's history and a fitting game for the Champion of Champions. Confirmation of the group scores. Ronnie Sullivan came from 3-0 down to overhaul Jimmy White. John Higgins getting the better of Stuart Bingham. There's just one place to fill in the semi-final lineup. Our 3 other winners have come through the group stages, starting with Neil Robertson, who saw off the challenge of Shaun Murphy in the quarterfinals and will now face the winner of our next match. On the other side of the draw, Judd Trump came through against Thepchaiya Unu and will meet Mark Allen, who beat Mark Selby. Time now for the last semi-finalists to be decided. The careers of these 2 players have run in parallel. They both turned pro in 1992 and have achieved so much in the game. 62 ranking titles between them and over 60 head-to-head confrontations. Another chapter about to be written in their collective story. The opening frame was dominated by a Higgins break of 98, enough to deny O'Sullivan. In the second, Higgins looked to be on track to double his lead, but an unlucky foul handed the advantage to O'Sullivan, who levelled.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 36
in the third, O'Sullivan picked up where he had left off, chalking up a break of 104 to take the lead. But Higgins came back in the 4th with a break of 89 to once again draw level.
John Higgins, 89 and correct.
This is now the 5th, O'Sullivan to break. Commentary from Phil Yates and Neil Folds.
Yeah, pretty rapid stuff the first 4 frames, wasn't it? Never mind the fact that it was evenly poised. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 12 seconds a shot. That is quicker than anything on the tour, including Thepchaiya, who we saw earlier in the week.
Yes, it wasn't flawless, but it was flowing.
Now I think this might just sneak into the middle pocket, this red. It does. Goes in a dead straight line, doesn't it, from there, as you saw it. Doesn't pull in from right to left as we look. It's very close to this black. He's going to really cue down on it. It's just not nice, this shot. It's kind of going into the bunch. It's hard to get enough to pot it, go into the bunch and come out of the bunch. You might have to play it quite gently. Yeah, he wasn't really comfortable on it. Not so much the pot, but getting the cue ball out onto a red.
Eight. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 8.
Now, Ronnie is not very keen on getting involved in long bouts of safety. And he's, I think, looking at cutting this red in. John was happy enough with the shot he played.
1.
That's a better shot than it looks as well.
8. 9.
Well, he's normally got an immaculate control of the cue ball, but in this little break, not yet. Well, look at this for a shot. Well, he's unleashing all of the shots now. Striving for position, and he still isn't
12.
quite there. There's a plant has turned up from nowhere. It was always near jaw, and he just fell in off the near jaw.
Well, against Jimmy White this afternoon, he was uber aggressive, and nothing has changed this evening.
Point. 21.
Of course, tonight as well, he's in his normal environment because the vast majority of the crowd want him to win. 99 times out of 100, that's the situation when the Rocket takes to the table.
Point 8. 29. 36.
Well, he's playing as quickly as he
37.
can. And referee Desislava Boshalova is having to scurry around to get the balls out in time and put them on their spots.
44. 45.
They always say as you get older you slow down in everything you do, but Ronnie Sullivan is running around the
52.
table tonight. You can't really play any quicker
53.
than this. Well, about 4 minutes and the
61.
frame's all done. This break.
We've had frames in
67.
this tournament so far that have been lengthier
68.
than the first 5 frames in this match.
76. 77.
Only 77 in absolutely no time. And just like that, the Rocket races into the lead for the first time in the match at 3-2. Welcome back to an enraptured Ricoh Arena in Coventry, where Ronnie O'Sullivan isn't leading for the first time this evening. For the second time, apologies for that. It was 2-1, now it's 3-2. Looking to open up a cushion for the first time.
It's been interesting, isn't it? Very come into this match not entirely sure how either were going to play. Both of them are below their best this afternoon, but their killer instinct and their pride has given us 5 very enjoyable frames. You keep hearing people say, well, we have to enjoy these players while they're still here. There's no evidence that they're going to slide down the rankings. I mean, these two and Mark Williams, class of '92, all it's still in the top 6 in the world. Well, it's one of them shots. If he knocks it in, you say brilliant. And when he misses them, it looks a little reckless, doesn't it? Difficult balance. He ended up playing it quite quickly, I felt.
It's a definite game plan from O'Sullivan. He wants to play aggressively and rapidly. It really is amazing how often that fluke occurs. Catching the jaw of the middle pocket, the near jaw, and then going in down the rail to a bulk bag.
Six. Yes, 7.
That was a kick which didn't affect anything really, just made a bad sound. Often it straightens up a potting angle, as we saw to Jimmy White's cost today. He got a horrible kick on an important shot which might have meant that he would have been sitting in the chair that Ronnie is tonight had he not got it, playing John.
I'm not saying we've had a huge amount of kicks today, because we haven't. But more have cropped up today
13.
than during the first 3 days of the tournament combined.
$14. $21. $22.
Agreeable angle, Neil.
Yeah, the bunch aren't certain to split. Depends on how he catches them. Well, I don't know if the red in the middle
29.
goes now. The left middle, that is. The other red might be covering it. I think it just about is. Could be that it just creeps in off the near jaw, but it's too close for comfort, that. So he's going to play the one to the right middle instead.
Joe Higgins, 29.
Ronnie be faced with that same red. I don't think it goes to the left middle. It's very, very tight. Well, he's missed a few of those today, but that one, he stroked it in. Played it with fairly decent control. He didn't overhit it, and there was value in it. He was always
6.
going to be on the blue with a view to punishing John for not making more from that chance. It's awkward. The red is almost under where he'd be leaning over that red up the table, so that's why he's playing this more difficult shot with his opposite hand.
Potting from distance, he made 2 of 15 against Jimmy White this afternoon. But if they're going in, that's when he's at his most dangerous, almost at his most unstoppable.
What a shot that is. I mean, he didn't have to play it. But he was so confident about getting the precise cannon and be on the other red.
Sorry? Would you please stop moving?
He's asking
Especially when they're down on a shot. Yeah, okay. Would you please stop? Make sure you
I
don't
don't
move.
know
Thank
what's
you.
happening, but somebody in the front row is
Yeah,
moving
they
on
both know that. Both know that, don't
his
worry.
line. It's interesting, you mentioned that 2 from 15 meant that his long game wasn't in good shape. It's very hard to turn that round in a couple of hours. Usually, if you're really not potting balls at long range, you need a few days on the practice table to start cueing them again. But tonight he's been better.
19. 20.
That's a good shot too. He's got the red out in the open, which he knew he'd be on.
27.
Well, this feels a big frame, given that John was in first. Always going to be frames
28.
where Sullivan would just march on. But when that man got in, he knew he had to make more than what he did. Looks like he's tried to hold the spot there, so he's on the red by the green. Referee Desislava Boshalova now just putting it on the spot. Well, he can still get through to the
33.
red.
His pace of play in this break has been a little more temperate. But who could have
Ronnie
foreseen
Sullivan,
that?
34.
I think he got very briefly distracted by somebody, got up and started the procedure again. I never thought he'd miss.
One.
Well, John's been given a reprieve. I don't think he'll get any more if he doesn't take advantage of this one.
Seven. Eight. Thirteen. 14.
Well, he is perfect on this, to stun in behind the red into the same pocket.
$21.
Probably a good decision to try and get onto the brown, which is the easiest ball to get from brown to yellow. Obviously green hanging over the pocket, so this is the last piece really of the jigsaw.
$26. $28.
Not a pressurised frame ball.
$31.
But getting one snooker is eminently realistic. Higgins would like to see the back of this brown.
$35. $40. $46.
The missed green were nicely in amongst them. Cost Ronnie Sullivan dear. It's all tied up again. 3 frames each.
Welcome back to the Champion of Champions. It's the last playoff final from our 4 groups, featuring Ronnie O'Sullivan and John Higgins. O'Sullivan has just taken the 7th frame with a break of 85. This is now the 8th. O'Sullivan at the table. Commentary from Phil Yates and Neil Folds.
Another good shot. He's motoring.
And that's been his mentality all day.
Yeah, he's got more fluency now, though, hasn't he, than the match with his great friend, Jimmy White. It must have been a tough
10
match for him to be really aggressive in. He was very subdued early. He was outplayed by White in
11
first couple of frames, and then he's on the back foot. Tonight, it's a different kind of match for him. Just drifted too far, has he? Now he's looking at the recovery blue. You know, he just goes. In the end, even though Sullivan misses,
11.
can't keep putting difficult balls. Game's not that easy.
John needs to bide his time, not get sucked into the pot at all costs approach.
$1. Bramble.
Well, the main bunch of red hasn't really split very well, but he's got others he's on, of course. Pushed one near the pocket.
Yeah.
There's never been more than a frame between these two. And for that run to continue, John's got to win this one.
And I think it's worth pointing out at this stage that although he's behind, the pot success rate of John Higgins is 1% superior to Ronnie O'Sullivan. There you see it. Both very respectable numbers.
$12. $13.
Well, he didn't mean to brush into the black there. He's okay. It's a tiny bit further away from it than he would have wanted. Playing a little cannon here. Wow. Just the last couple of shots, John has shown a out of character
20.
lapses in position. How's he ended up here? He looks set just a few moments ago. Definitely the last two shots he's not controlled as well as usual. This was a surprise. He didn't mean to play it like that. He didn't mean to hit the black. Cue ball just rushed over to the right a bit. He's got to recover it now. Thread to the middle is not easy. The pressure started to build there.
John Higgins, 20.
Yes, couldn't agree more, and it was pressure of his own making. To only make 20 from that leave, disappointing.
$1.
Well, this is a big moment. Sullivan is experienced enough to realise that if he can capitalise and win this frame, he is on his way. You know he's playing well enough. Might not want to rush around at 12 seconds a shot here, just be a little more measured at such a crucial stage of a match. It's a very fine shot. He knew both reds went.
3. $4. $11. $12. $19.
A quick look at the score from
20.
O'Sullivan, which you may have seen. He just looked, he knows that he doesn't need to worry about the two reds which are near cushions. He can win the frame on the other balls once they're out in the open.
27. 28.
Just need to put one of those red, but not with a colour.
34. 35.
What a chance to put daylight between himself and his great rival.
42. 43.
Well, he'll be kicking himself, John Higgins. Now, if he wants to, he can make sure of this red.
48.
Doesn't need a colour with it. Oh, very good play from O'Sullivan.
49.
Pounced on an error from John Higgins.
$53. Ronnie Sullivan, 53.
No fluke, but it was another fine contribution. Not quite enough to allow John Higgins to concede, and rightly so. 44 the difference, so 3 snookers needed. But that's one snooker and a potential free ball, which is always on, especially with the tactical genius of the Scot.
Ronnie can get through. It's a real queuing shot to definitely clinch the frame. Well, his long game is the one thing that has not been by any means perfect today. He still looks incredibly dangerous in amongst them.
Yes, we've seen this before with these long potting. Out of kilter one day, comes back the next and he looks as sharp as mustard.
He's the longest frame of the match now. It's just about coming up. 13 minutes is all they've been playing.
And more than likely, it should be the end of frame. It is.
One.
After this, a possible
6.
3 frames left. John Higgins will have to win them all. And the way O'Sullivan is warming to the task, that's going to be a mighty difficult proposition. He knows it.
11. $15. 20. 26.
It's been a top gear O'Sullivan in terms of speed, and he sprinted into a 5-3 lead. Meeting number 66 between Ronnie O'Sullivan and John Higgins looks like going the way of the Englishman. But we all know John Higgins is capable of doing pretty much anything on a snooker table. Do not write him off just yet.
Incredible pot. Mitchell's long pot's not going in. That one was quite special, actually. Didn't even think about this. Playing off the blue back to the other end. Blue staying near a pocket actually becomes significant now. He can get from the blue to the red, just above and to the right of the black. It could be away now. Some shot to get in off.
9.
Opening red, I can tell you.
10.
This is a different display from Sullivan to the
17.
one we saw against Jimmy
18.
White earlier. We saw against Mei Jiwen in the English Open, and in between that, the World Open, he lost to Dominic Dale, who did play well. Ronnie has decided to come out and be ultra aggressive.
25. 26.
And this is against the man he respects more than anybody in the game as a player. Whenever you hear Ronnie O'Sullivan talking about who he fears most, who he respects most, who he thinks is the best
33.
player, the name John Higgins always comes up.
34.
Now then, it could be all about the shot.
Yeah, he wanted to play on the loose one. Might just feel that it's easier from blue into bunch
41.
than it is from the black. He's got a wonderful snooker brain. Quick to see the value shot. Something about that. I don't
Ronnie
know.
O'Sullivan, 41.
I suspect he was distracted. Is the reason he got up once. He did give someone a bit of a glare. I don't know what happened there.
One.
Just one awkward red on the table.
Eight. Nine. Sixteen. Seventeen.
He doesn't want to be straight. He has got a slight angle, in fact. Very good shot. Calculated.
24.
Yes, and a little unlucky to put a second red close to a cushion.
25.
Yeah, good point. He'll certainly need both of those reds that are currently a little bit tied up. Get back into the frame, but can he take it that one step further?
$31. Want a photo?
Got to be a bit careful here. If he takes the black, just got to keep an eye on where it goes. All of the spots are occupied, so it'll go somewhere near to the red. It might either tie the red or the black itself up. John figures that he can pop the red, and he certainly
39.
can. He might want to free one of those other three reds on the side cushion here. It's a chance. Well, he's knocked two out for good measure.
40.
Knocked them in perfect positions, but they're more gettable now than they were.
$44. $45.
Well, this looks heavy. Well, that's a surprising pace
49.
misjudgment from John. Well, he did okay, but
John
when he got
Higgins,
that far,
49.
he felt he might take that break even further, even deeper into the frame. Just overhit this by quite a long way, in fact. No obvious reason. Oh, what a punch. He was trying to work out how he was going to get that cue ball up the table on the safety. Incredible. He has to play a clever shot here, though. Wow, surely not. That is an astonishing play. That is unbelievable.
The two together,
7.
if this red goes in down the rail. Breathtaking. And it does. What a way to forge a match-winning chance.
Well, I suppose if it hadn't have gone in, we'd have said it would have been the wrong shot, but I think that pink ball onto that red is one of the best shots I've
13.
seen for a very long time.
15.
And I can't believe it. John Higgins must be thinking, how on earth has he put himself in a position to clear up from where the balls were?
18.
Absolutely outrageous. Now what's he doing here? What, he's changing his mind?
Stay still, please.
Goodness. Don't need him to be put off at this stage.
22.
The blue is frame and match ball.
Still. Thank you.
What he's done here is quite something. I thought I'd seen it all from O'Sullivan, but I've seen something different here. Amazing, Phil.
O'Sullivan in the pink after potting a pink that was out of this world. Unbelievable the way he completed that victory. He defeats John Higgins by 6 frames to 3, and now the semi-finals of this Champion of Champions beckon.
It's Ronnie O'Sullivan who fills the last gap in the semi-final lineup. He'll play Neil Robertson for a place in the final of the ManBet X Champion of Champions 2019.